Hi Quilters, welcome back to my channel. This is Pages and Stitches and my name is Kelly. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I wanted to do a works in progress parade, a WIP parade for you today on all of my quilting projects and show you what I've been working on and what's coming up next. So, all of my quilting projects that I've been working on are kind of spread out throughout the room. So after this, I'm gonna take my camera down and I'm gonna walk you throughout the room showing you what I'm working on so you won't see my face for a minute. Currently, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 current WIPs in progress and I'm about to add 3 more. So I'm a busy quilter, but I wanted to show you what I got going on and see if, you got similar projects in the works or if you like something I'm working on. If you see something you like, you have questions about, I'm going to link as much as I can about the fabric lines and the patterns and where I got it all from down below. But if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I'll try and reach out to you and answer you as best as I can. So before we get started, let me give you my reading update. If you watched my floss tube video, it's the same reading update. I just finished Kleypas's Prince of Dreams. This is a sequel to Midnight Angel. She's my favorite historical romance author. And I am starting A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker. So those are my books I'm working on, and let's get into the quilting. Okay, so the first project I want to show you that I'm working on is a quilt called Shimmer by Cluck. So, and you might have seen this in my stash parade. I've already finished with the blocks, like the quilt top is basically done, so I put it back in my stash, not realizing that it's still obviously an active WIP. So this is Shimmer, and I am making the throw size, which is 56 by 70. It calls for 20 fat quarters. And because it is a fat quarter friendly project, I decided to use the RJR Fabrics line Lilac and Sage. And this is the one that you've seen behind me whenever I've done my previous videos. Let me scoot back, see if I can get it all in here. Lilac and Sage is the name of the line, but his line only has 19 different prints in it. So I had to supplement with another fabric. So I used this one, and I don't remember which fabric line this came from off the top of my head. I'll have to insert it below. But this is also going to be the binding when I do finish the quilt. And then this background fabric I just got from Joanne's, I believe. It's just a tone-on-tone white. But all of these materials have like the most gorgeous bronzy copper shimmer. I'm trying to catch it. And they're just so pretty. So I kind of drooled over this line and I just kind of knew I wanted to do something with it. So this was perfect. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, good stuff. So the backing is this print here, which is, let me see if I can find it. That one, the middle of that one. It's like a soft gray background with these beautiful, like big floral sprays in it. So this is just about finished. I have these 2 columns over here stitched together, and then these blocks are the only ones that are still not stitched together. But that's all I have left to do is just stitch these 3 columns and then sew all the columns together, and then it's done. So that's my first WIP, Shimmer. The next project I want to talk about is this quilt called Meadowland by Then Came June. And this pattern, I am doing the large throw, I believe. Yeah, it's the large throw. So it's the 64 by 80. And I'm using a fabric line called Cider, which I already have a couple of blocks made up over here. They live right next to my Shimmer quilt. And that backing, that like tan, kind of dirty looking backing, or I'm sorry, background fabric, that's just a supplemental fabric that I got that kind of matches the tone of the line, which is like a warm you know, neutral. And then so I already have all the blocks cut out, or all the pieces for the blocks. So I'm gonna try and show you some of the prints in the line. And then what I'll do is I'll insert a picture of like a fat quarter bundle or something, kind of showing off all the different prints. So these are all cut out. And again, this is what the finished quilt is gonna look like, but with these colors. And this line is, or this pattern is super cute. I was really excited to get it. And then when I figured out that I wanted to do it with these prints, it kind of just came together in my head, and I'm excited to see that all pulled together. So one more time, here's these. And as I work on it, I'll give you guys some more updates. Okay, so this is the next WIP that I currently have going, and it is a pattern by Ruby Star Society called Favorite Sweater Quilt. And this is a free pattern, so I will link it down below. Again, I printed it on my work computer, so it's not the best quality. But I was gifted this fabric line, which is called Warp and Weft, and it's a bunch of woven fabrics, also by Ruby Star Society. For my mom. And so whenever I was kind of hunting around for what pattern to use for such a unique fabric line, I came across this pattern, and I was just like, duh, of course, like you can't not do a sweater quilt with woven fabrics. So here is my current progress. I've just got 3 little blocks that I've made up, and I'm just kind of, there's the thread on here. I'm just kind of making these up whenever I've got some time. I think they're so stinking cute. And I've already paired up all the line here. So like these two will go together, and these two, and these two, and these two, on and on and on, to make these little sweaters. And this background fabric that I'm using is just like a dark kind of mulberry, purpley maroon color that I got from Joanne's. To supplement. I just thought it was like the perfect fall color to complement these sort of like autumnal gold and orange fabrics to make this sweater quilt. So I'll link this pattern down below, totally free. And what's funny is I did not intend to do a Ruby Star Society quilt with Ruby Star Society fabric. It just kind of worked out that way. So it was meant to be. This is the Favorite Sweater Quilt. This next quilt pattern is called Jelly Roll Jam, and it is a free pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop. And they have a YouTube video with a tutorial on how to make this, so I'll be sure and link that down below. But the fabric line that I use this, actually I think it's a combination of 2 different jelly rolls. I don't know what the line is called. Whenever I first started working at the clinic I'm working at currently, one of my coworkers had bought a bunch of jelly rolls with good intentions to make, you know, projects out of them, and then they never did. And so when they found out that I was a quilter, they just gave me a bunch of this fabric, a lot of which was jelly roll strips. And so I was looking for something to do with them, and that's how I came across the Jelly Roll Jam quilt pattern. And I made 2 of these, and they're baby quilt size, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to, at least not with this one, because it's such a unique color palette that it's certainly not my favorite. I don't know if anybody else appreciates this kind of color palette for a baby. I don't know. Like, I think part of this line was from a Christmas jelly roll. Who knows? But what I think I'm going to end up doing, and I did, like, I even got some backing fabric that kind of matches pretty well. What I think I'm going to end up doing is just finishing off with some simple quilting and then donating it to our local animal shelter as like a dog quilt. Yeah, so this is the first one, and I'll show you the second one I put together in just a second. So here's the second Jelly Roll Jam quilt pattern. You can see this one's a little bit more kid-friendly in terms of the prints and the colors. So I might save this one and give it to somebody who's got a baby coming up. all my friends are getting pregnant right now, so there's no shortage of young mothers in need of baby quilts in my life. So, and this was, I think, 2 different fabric lines that I put together as well. But yeah, so this is the other Jelly Roll Jam Quilt pattern. And this is the backing fabric I got for it, which is just like a nice blue. And those are the 2 Jelly Roll works in progress that I've got right now. I just have to do the quilt sandwich and do some simple quilting, and then those will be done. So this next project it's going to be an ongoing project for a really long time because I only have 1 block done. And the story behind it is when I was in clinicals going through my radiology program, I got really bored one day and I just whipped out my coloring pencils and I colored this, which, you know, is fun and colorful and bright and I liked it. But then I was looking at it, you know, I did it on graph paper and it's 10 square grid blocks by 6. So ultimately, if one of those little grid blocks is like 1 inch, then this could be a 60 by 60 quilt. And I was just like, you know what? I think I can make that into a quilt. I bet I could kind of freehand or improvise something out of scraps. So, I mean, I had been saving all my scraps for the longest time. And what I did was I just kind of taped a bunch of these note cards together. I'm going to do this. Line it up here. Sorry, let me get this in the middle. So that's 1 10 by 10 block, right? And I pulled out a bunch of scraps and I made that. Which, I mean, when you look at it just by itself is like nothing special, but I think when you put them all together and you get something that looks like that, that would be pretty dang cool. So, this, like I said, I started a long time ago, and I'm just kind of like, whenever, you know, the fancy strikes me or I catch wild hair, then I'll start working on the other bits and pieces. So this is a unique whip, like, let me see if I can get the next block lined up. So if I go to the next block, which is right here, that's going to be a lot of browns and golds and maybe some taupes and grays. And then we'll go here and we start working in like some yellows and greens down in the corner. And then we really get into some really pretty like forest colors. If I do this block with some bright greens down in here. So this is how I'm planning on working on it. It's just like one little 10 by 10 block at a time. That one's really pretty. So right now this measures 10.5 by 10.5. Finished size would be 10 by 10. So yeah, let me know what you think about this project. I don't know. I just kind of caught a wild hair and I thought when I finished this project, I was like, or finished like this coloring project, I was like, I'm going to make a quilt out of this. And so that's what that WIP is. It's not a pattern per se. It's just, I'm just improvising with scraps. And so this one kind of lives over here until I start adding to it. So the last project I'm working on as an active WIP, I'm gonna have to insert pictures of because it's currently folded up and hanging on a hanger in my closet. The quilt top I already finished, and it's this black, gray, and white gradient quilt. I call it my Tula Radiant, and it's a quilt that I made using Tula Pink's, let me look at the pattern. Tula Pink City Sampler 100 Modern Quilt Blocks, and I did it entirely with black, gray, and white, and I just did a gradient from the top left corner to the bottom right, dark to light. And it's been finished for a while. I just have to do the sandwich and do the quilting. For some reason, finishing a quilt takes me forever because I love the part where you create the quilt top. That's my favorite part. I love messing with patterns and playing with color theory and kind of just workshopping different designs. But once that's done, it takes me forever to get to the actual quilting part because it's my least favorite part. So, you know, don't come at me if that's your favorite part. I'm sorry, it's just my least favorite part because I think it's so repetitive, at least for me. I don't know. So yeah, that's my last active WIP right now. But like I said, I'm about to add a few more on. So as I make progress with all of those and I start adding more WIPs, I'll give you more updates. The last thing I wanted to go over with you today was a little bit of haul. I got some more fabric, and this is the next project that I'm gonna get started on. Okay, so I ordered a quilt pattern called Cinnamon Toast, and I'll insert a picture here. I ordered it from my local quilt shop, Lone Star Quiltworks. I'll link their shop below, as well as their Facebook page. They do a Facebook Live every Wednesday. And they ordered this Cinnamon Toast pattern for me. It's supposed to get in next week. But the reason why I ordered it is because they also got in Maria Horner's newest line of fabric from Free Spirit called Made My Day. And I got her, I got a layer cake of her line. So I'll try and, since I can't really go through them all, I'll try and insert a picture of what the line looks like if you haven't seen it. She's pretty much my favorite quilt designer right now, or quilt fabric designer right now, because she just does these bright, like trippy, foresty, botanical prints that I just love. And so I wanted to use her fabric line for that quilt, but the quilt size I want to make calls for 49 10-inch squares. So, and this layer cake only has 42. So I had to supplement from another line of hers. So I got a yard of this print. That print there. Of course, it's just bright, big florals that matches. All of her stuff goes really well together. Just like with cave stuff, like you put it all together and it looks great. And then I also got this piece, which is a 108-inch bolt made to be a quilt bag, but I'm definitely gonna have tons left over. So, and I needed a few extra blocks for this. So I got this fabric. Look at these flowers. They're like as big as my head. Look at that. So that's going to be the backing, and then the additional quilt box for that one quilt. So as soon as that comes in, I'm going to start getting all that together, and I'll show you my progress as I make it. I'm really excited about that one. So anyways, that's it for today. Those are all my works in progress. Again, I'll link everything down below. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And then I'll see you guys for my next update. All right, have a good day. Bye.